Let justice roll down like water, righteousness like a mighty stream. For our grandsons and granddaughters, remember to remember the dream. Welcome songs and stories from home, where we continue to remember the dream. This week, Malcom X. We can't separate peace from freedom because we cannot be at peace unless we are free. Malcom X. We must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience. Martin Luther King, Jr. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, Jr. helped define the character and the conscience of the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. One grew up a street kid and the other a preacher's kid. They both became ministers, giving voice to a moment with words that echo down the corridors of time and resonate to this day. One urged his fellow black Americans to protect themselves against white aggression by any means necessary, and the other practiced and preached nonviolence until the day he died. Neither of them made it to their 40th birthdays. Both of them shot and killed, speaking their truth loudly and clearly. In many ways, they were and are, I believe, the yin and yang of America's chance at atonement for its great crime against humanity, slavery, a crime that has no statute of limitations. Martin Luther King, Jr. has a monument built near the reflecting pond of our nation. It is a testament to the lasting relevance of his eloquence, to the importance of his message of bending the moral arc of the universe toward justice and a single beloved community. Malcolm X's story remains less palatable, but no less significant. It's well told in his own words with the help of the author Alex Haley in the autobiography of Malcolm X. Spike Lee also put Malcolm X's life on the screen, featuring a tour de force performance by Denzel Washington in the title role. Together, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. helped tell the story of a country that continues to war with itself and struggles to live with its conscience. Only by knowing where we are and how we got here can we truly know what it is to have peace and a clear conscience. Let justice roll down like water, righteousness like a mighty stream. For our grandsons and granddaughters, remember to remember the dream. Malcolm Little, also known as Malik Shabazz, or best known as Malcolm X, was shot and killed while speaking at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City on February 15, 1965. There's some speculation when he returned from his own pilgrimage to Mecca. In the spring of 1964, he was beginning to moderate a long-time belief that whites would never see blacks as human beings. Shortly after his return, he and Dr. King met for the only time. Both were in Washington, D.C., watching a Senate hearing, discussing what would turn into the Civil Rights Bill of 1964. Malcolm X approached Dr. King, explaining that he was ready to throw himself into the heart of the civil rights movement. At the invitation of the SNCC leadership, Malcolm X, a few weeks before his assassination, came to Selma, where he gave a speech at Brown Chapel, explaining that if people don't listen to Dr. King's peaceful message, Malcolm X's harsher one may be even harder for them to hear. The civil rights movement was beginning to move nearer to Malcolm X's ballots and bullets and away from what too often felt like simply turning the other cheek. Black power, black nationalism, black is beautiful. Or as Malcom X proclaimed, black coffee may be too strong for some people, but not for me. These ideas were being embraced by the black community, unconcerned about what the white community might say or do. Sam Cooke wrote this next song after he called ahead and made a reservation at a hotel, only to be told when he arrived and they saw the color of his skin, there was no room available. It became an anthem for the civil rights movement. I was born by the river in a little town, just like the river. I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but a change is gonna come. I've been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but a change is gonna come. Oh,